Welcome to our regularly scheduled planning and zoning meeting tonight. Let's go ahead and start off with Lynn Snow. Here. Nancy Bender.
Here.
Dave Higginson. Here. Eric Larson. Here. And Chris Squire. Here. And Gwen emailed me and said she wouldn't be here tonight, so she's excused for tonight. Go ahead and get started on reviewing the minutes. I found a few things,
I did too.
if you're ready.
Yeah.
So Gwen, who was here? Gwen was not here.
Okay.
And so Gwen was excused, but Chris and Eric were here.
Okay, I'll fix that right now.
And then down on the boundary line adjustment,
Mhm.
need to get rid of Gwen's name and put Eric's as a voting aye, and what else was it? Got Bob Gilbert. Oh, Bob, yeah, get rid of Bob's name.
Okay.
Bob's no longer here.
Okay.
And then on the adjournment, get rid of Gwen and add Eric and Chris in there. And that's all I saw.
Mhm.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's the one I noticed too. The attendance.
Okay. And then in the minutes section, Bob's name is in there too.
Okay.
And Gwen. So make sure Chris and Eric are in that list of voting aye.
Okay. Anything else?
Anything else? Anything? We have a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
We have a motion by Nancy,
I'll second that.
second by Chris, all in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, let's get right into it. We are going into a public hearing to discuss rezoning the property at 751 West, 1000 South, going from commercial to R110. Steve, you want to come up and remind us and those who weren't here last time that are in here that what we want to do here with the rezone part of it.
This is mine, like, that's split.
We want to rezone it to residential first.
Right.
And so that's part we're in the public hearing for that part of it.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
Anyway, that's a copy of this parcel.
yeah,
The whole parcel.
Yeah, so-
And why do you want to rezone it?
So my son can probably build a house there.
You can't build on it now.
that's commercial.
Well, the other house is on commercial, right?
Those ones grandfathered.
You can't build a new home on commercial.
Okay.
According to zone.
Residential.
You can't get a conditional use for nothing to do it.
It borders an R110 zone, and that's why we're rezoning it as a one.
And it's a border R110.
That's how it's got here from it's this lot right here.
Yeah.
And so the R110 is above it, and the RR1 is over here, and the commercial is the red. So we're talking about this lot right there.
He was in the county when the first house was built there.
Is that your property, Bruce, that RR1?
Is that where yours is?
Yes,
I don't.
yes.
Yes.
This is Bruce Witherson's property right here.
Okay.
This is Bruce's property.
Okay. Now we have, everyone knows what's going on. Let's open it up to the public. Do we have any comments? Bruce?
Yes, I'm here to oppose that. And it's a matter of quality of life that some of us would like to have. Not all of us choose to have neighbors on top of us. I like my neighbors, I just don't like them quite so close. And, what would happen then if it was rezoned, there would be a house built directly across the street from me. There are other alternatives. I've talked with Keith once about, offering to discuss me buying that property. And so financially, he would not be out anything. There are other places that, I think Keith, if I remember, you've got a son who wants to build there. Other places that perhaps could be done. For example, Bobby Winterton was here a month ago. If she doesn't mind close neighbors, to be able to build over there. But I'd just like you to consider other alternatives rather than just zoning it.
So Bruce, are you saying you'd rather have a business there than a residence?
I don't know if a business would be there.
Well, but if it was, it's zoned that way, so
It is.
you wouldn't have any problem with the business going in.
Well, I would prefer not to have anything. Like I say, I sure liked it before Moon Lake built, when it was an alfalfa field. So, so I don't know, but I guess it's the possibility of a business going in there versus the certainty of a house being built there.
Well, you wanna buy the whole works there for $500,000?
Oh, probably just that, the half that is not developed.
Well, if I don't have it zoned, I can't sell it.
As far as the house or just that property.
Well, works if you've got lots of money.
Right,
I just was trying to help out one of my boys.
right now, it's one piece of property where the house is and where that extension is there to the left. It's all one piece of
So
property.
right now, we refer to it as one property. And like Lynn brought up, there's real potential right now with it zoned as commercial that a business could go there and you would have commercial traffic.
I mean, there is already with Moon Lake there. So.
Chairman,
Yeah.
at that point, something to consider that if you are looking at this to become commercial at some future point, once a house is built there, we would expect the house to be there for 70 years.
Right.
So if you are considering that this should be commercial, also keep that in mind, just whichever way you go.
I'm looking at it as the alternative right now as it stands is leave it commercial and there's potential, like I say, potential for commercial traffic.
Have you been down there and seen what it is?
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Who wants it for
Right.
commercial?
Right. And then there's or like say, a potential certainty, because you may build a house there, you may not. That you have one neighbor there with one family's traffic,
Well, no, Moon Lake there, you've got a lot of traffic there already. Commercial business goes in there, it's not gonna add a whole lot to what's already the traffic that is there.
Right.
They use that road a lot for the access to that yard.
Moon Lake does this.
Moon Lake, that's where all of their warehouse employees, yard employees, they all use that entrance.
How does the back lane to Leanne's factor into all of this?
It's just,
Is there an actual right of way through there, or is that just,
I gave Dawn access to it.
so that would remain a road?
Yeah, that would
Did you give it in writing or access to it?
Yeah.
Okay, give them a legal recorded.
Yeah, we had it so that, that they could do it.
So that'll always be a driveway. basically.
So it's a deeded easement, correct?
Which?
A deeded easement.
The traffic
I thought it was
against
easement. I don't know, maybe I'm
uses
wrong.
that entrance. They could not get off the highway and they couldn't get onto the
It's a
highway
dangerous
with their
situation.
vehicles going down there.
Terrible.
And so this just made it so that it would be safely get out of there.
Well, that's why I was curious if that was gonna remain a road, or if building a house there would make that go away.
Yeah, Leanne's got that, why, you know, it could be.
But if you've deeded them a right of way, that'll remain a road regardless of what else happens.
Well, it's a trespass permit, whatever you want to call it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not up on the legal stuff. You guys
If it's
tell me.
recorded, it's a deed of easement.
He's not sure that it's recorded.
So you have to look at it, stuff.
Does that make any difference on that?
I don't think so.
No, basically your entrance would be off of.
I don't know if it could, if
One
commercial went in there, they may not want that road down.
Do you think you're willing to sell just that half of that lot?
Not
I'd
really.
rather not, because my son, he needs a place. He's having too much mold up here in his home and around, and they just find that his wife is,
I mean, if you got out of it, though, what another lot would cost.
I'm not worried about the price of it. I'm just gonna give it to him. Is that permissible?
Well, yeah, but if you got out of it, what a lot would cost, you wouldn't buy a lot somewhere else for him.
He wasn't interested in that. But there's so much mold around, you get the water stuff, you look around this town, anytime that you've got a dripping tap, it goes down the wall, grows mold inside, I can name you half a dozen houses in here. This West State Center got it. Got a daughter-in-law that had to go there because of the mold. She just, you know,
Well, I'm saying that every lot around town would be that way.
now this one happens to not have any water draining into it. And there's no ditch there, it's downhill. So that was why they want the one.
Yeah, because it's
So, I don't know. You guys help me.
So. Do we have any other concerns from the public about this? Anyone else?
All of those that were here were totally okay and in favor of it. But then we didn't call and say, and we didn't get a notification. So I don't suppose that any of them did either about this meeting tonight.
We're supposed to notify people within 300 feet. That's what we do.
Okay,
And,
Where would water and sewer come from, Keith?
Down into Leanne's, probably on the sewer and the water can come right up through there too, either way, depending on how we got it. Otherwise, I might take it over like I did with the other house. And
or is there sewer at the other house, sewer and water?
Yeah.
Yes,
city,
Where's it at?
So you see, I have to wonder, when I was annexed into the city, and we discussed this, they said they couldn't run sewer or water to me.
It's down in that lower corner, isn't it, Keith? Sewer water?
comes from here, comes over, and, let's see.
It's right in that corner there. The sewer right in the back.
It comes down through and comes out here and
To the highway.
to here.
Well, the main sewer line does,
Well, the main sewer line comes right through here.
this house here is tied in about right here someplace. There's a sewer manhole right here. And I told Keith that if he did divide these lots, he would have to include an easement for the sewer
Yeah.
to cross this piece of property to service this.
I'll bring up where the,
Okay. Yeah,
Add that
there's
on
there's
so
the
we can
manhole.
see
So
it.
it's tied in
to the manhole.
someplace right in here, and that's where this house is tied in, about right here.
Yeah, so easements would have to be.
And that was tied in, when it was in the county.
Well, there's an easement there for the canal right now. That's complete, because that came down around, from up here, come down around this way and then back this way. And, anyway, we had that, and they used it for water in the fields out here on this other side. But there is easement there. And so when that new, pipeline went in, it came, Bob Murphy's there, it came down around because that could make the difference, just like Gerald Drive goes. It came down, crossed through that, went under the road, They didn't want to do it, no, you gotta put it under. I said, okay, I'm just gonna sue you for all the damn salt. It's running on my field and they're not. Oh, well, maybe we could work something out. You know, it's funny if you're gonna have a problem, maybe you can work something. So anyway, that's the case.
Do you have any
Any other questions you
Any
got?
other questions from the board or from anyone else in the public?
Bruce, I just, Bruce, if we found a lot and it was suitable and it cost 35,000, is that something in your price range?
We're not gonna sell it.
I know.
For the lot you're talking
Yeah.
about? Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't sell it off without selling the house.
I'm gonna interfere here.
Okay.
The one reason we wanted to have our daughter, this house built there, was she is so allergic to so many things and has such poor health because of all these things that conflicted. And then where we had all of the water that was there is none of it available to be underground water. It's all contained with pipes. And this was gonna make it so that she would be able to move into a home that was not going to be affected by water that would cause mildew that is so destructive to her health. And so as far as we were concerned, selling it or getting it was not a reason or a purpose. It was because of the health of the family. And they were a big family of two. They got 4 kids, 2 of them are gone. So that's how big of a family it is left now. It's just him and her and the 2 little ones. And that one girl's graduating from high school, and so she'll be gone. So it's not gonna be a big family type situation, but it would have been a safety thing, and they had it destined to build a home that would be totally really free, so that she could live there, because her health suffers something fierce. She has constant seizures with it. So it was, our reason was just the house, the property was ours, it was available, and it would suit the purpose for her. And so that's what we went, otherwise we were not in the market wanting to sell it or get rid of the baby. It was just that it would give her a place where they could have a home. That would be something to deal with her health issues.
Keith, does your son work at your business? This son we're talking about,
Yes.
does he work with you at the business?
Yes,
Okay, and
he's one of the,
she doesn't have a job? She's a stay-at-home?
She does hair, she's a
Oh.
beautician.
Would that,
And she has limited in what she can do because she's allergic to a lot of the things that people use on their hair, and so she's.
I was wondering, would she do that in her home? If she had a house there, would she be able to set up a little shop in her home?
I would assume she probably would.
That would,
she has.
So then again,
that would be something later on.
That would probably be a good 12 people a week that would drive into her
That would
door.
be something later on.
down the road, there would be a
Business.
small business permit to have to.
Single, I didn't think it was under conditional use.
Wow.
I thought it was for the employee more than one person.
Buy some of our land.
Wrong location.
So the question at this point comes back to it. I believe the question is, should it be changed from commercial? You have stay commercial or go to a R110, not spot zoning because we would only have one lot, so we don't have, or an RR1, which this wouldn't qualify because it would be too small of a lot for an RR1. So the 2 choices you've got is you leave it the way it is, or you zone it to an RR1.
Well, you zone
R1.
the house and the lot and the.
Everything, because we're only talking one parcel right now.
Right,
We're
okay.
only correct. So the
We're only
question comes, do you
discussing the one.
rezone this parcel to
That
something
entire
other than
parcel.
it is?
As an R110.
Because it could be, because it's adjacent, it could be gone to an R110 or an RR1. An RR1 does not qualify because they won't both be over an acre lot.
Right.
So this is your choice, either to leave it where it is or allow it to go to this.
Yep.
That's the question on the table. That But the board, that is the question. The next
That's what it
question,
boils down to.
that's the boiling question right now.
Yep.
We have another agenda item, but at this point, that is the question.
And so I so move that this be reclassified as an R110 through discussion.
Okay, we have a motion by Dave to rezone this property to an R110. We have a second.
I'll second.
A second by Eric. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
Nancy and I, we haven't decided.
Abstain. I have to abstain. I've got mixed feelings about it.
Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
Lynn?
I'm feeling the same way, it's kind of split.
So am
That would be the.
Does not pass.
It would not pass at that point.
At this point, it doesn't pass. Because we have to have
You have to have a majority of your.
a majority to
vote for
according
it.
to pass, and there's three.
So how many didn't vote?
We had 3 abstain and 3 yeses.
What's your questions on that?
I can just say why I even hesitated in the first place. Last month, when they came to us, there's a house on there, it should be residential, right? It's no brainer, but now looking at the map, and I drove through it afterward, and was like, well, okay, if I am supreme leader of the city, do I want that to remain commercial with the intent that someday a business will go there? And, you know, it's close to the main highway where we usually like businesses, so if it was 100% up to me, that was my thought. You know, do I want to consider that to be a future business or not? But with the half dozen other houses on that corner, there's a house there, that's why I said.
I lean that Summerall should be residential and the backside of that, where this house is, should be residential, in my mind.
And keep in mind, at some point,
Right.
future planning and zoning, future council, that's
Maybe-
where this comes from. So you're coming in, planning and zoning should consider what the property is going to be, not what it is today, but what it
Right.
should be. And that's why, you're right,
That's
a
why-
house can be in a commercial area. We have a number of those that are in commercial areas throughout. You know, if you recall,
All down.
I don't know how many were here, but when they added the extra block, or half a block, Nancy, you were here. Steve, I think you were maybe here.
Just before.
So they moved that.
Third north.
So that's a question. And, you know, at this point, the question you guys got, what do you think it should be? Because that's a good question. What do you think it should be in 50 years from now? Because this will make that decision.
It would certainly be an improved version, because they're very, very, very fussy about their yard, and it would not be anything, it would be a definite improvement in the appearance of the property.
It is there currently.
It's
Yeah.
a dirt patch right
Because it's
now.
just a patch of dirt and weeds, and it's got junk on it, and rain, maybe we won't clean it up, and we'll just leave it there, junky and icky. I can't believe you can't let that happen.
So the other thing is, if you don't have one, you can move, see if the discussion of splitting a lot makes a difference. I don't know what that, because that would be your next agenda item.
If this is tabled, then the other one isn't brought up.
That would be up to, I mean, you guys, if you want to split it, it would be split under commercial.
Right.
It wouldn't allow for a house if it gets split that way. But at least if you split it and it was commercial, then at least something, I mean, that would allow, if they ever did want to sell or did want to do something, at least that gives them an option of something. At this point, it leaves it where it's at, no more construction for house or commercial building. Well, whatever you guys do.
So we're at that point, on to the next. agenda item.
Can I ask quick clarification?
Sure.
Even,
So that
Whatever.
means it doesn't go then, is that what you're saying, is that
Yeah,
it's done? I can't
It's
believe-
tied right now, the vote is tied, so we haven't approved it.
okay, and if this is.
it hasn't been disapproved.
So you're just holding it in, what are we waiting for that would make a difference?
So the next question would be, do you want to proceed and go ahead and split the lot commercially?
Maybe we should put something that he won't want, just so that yes, no.
If it's
You
commercial
could do
now,
that, shouldn't you?
and you split the lot, would there be any need that in the future that you would want to put something on that commercial lot for your business?
No, unless I drug a bunch of old trucks over there and throw them there.
Oh, we got a lot of junk we could move somewhere. We got a lot of junk. I'm so very hurt by this.
But I hadn't thought beyond that, because see, someone just asked if that would be available. Yeah, get done.
We're not talking about crummy people, we're talking about my son, who's a very good neighbor, and he does the yard for his neighbor, and he scoops the snow, and,
Whatever you say.
yeah.
So I say it's tabled right now as far as the zone change.
Okay.
So what are their options?
Would you,
Can they appeal this to the city council? Or,
That was my question.
yeah, that's the question. It can be
Even if
appealed to
we-
the city council at that point.
Yeah,
That would be
just-
the next step, is that they could appeal your decision.
you can still take it to city council and it would be with no recommendation one way or the other from planning and zoning, right?
That would be correct, and you would have to go to city council anyway. At this point, the end approval isn't set at this body. It'd have to go to city council at that point, and without a recommendation, they could make choices. They could send it back and say, if planning and zoning hasn't made a decision, they could send it back. They could rule on it at theirs, or they could do the same as you've done, take no action. So they have options, and
I'll tell you,
So you still have that option that something may go your favor with the council.
my, I don't know, I'm really troubled by this a little bit, but on one hand, I'm troubled, I mean, Bruce is betting that if it's commercial, then there won't be anything built there. But if it was commercial, he may be more disappointed in that than he would in residential. On the other hand, there are good lots in town. There are some good lots in town. And if he was willing to buy it for what a good lot would cost, so that we could have the consistency of keeping it commercial, I can't see where that would, I mean,
The expense of a lot, what would the expense of a lot in town be compared to what this is looking at? Because this son barely can keep up because his wife's expenses for medical is just absolutely atrocious.
well,
They live on
you know,
the street.
I'm
And
talking,
buying a lot was one of the things that was going to benefit me to be able to get into a
well,
home.
I have a lot that, I was gonna sell to my son, but it's, what we're talking about in the 35 to 37,000 price range.
That's $37,000.
Well, we're saying if he would buy it,
But if I were to
if
buy
he would buy it,
that,
you'd have
then
to,
you would have,
Oh,
That's the other thing.
yeah, if he would buy that, to
You
retain
split this
commercial,
lot.
and then, or he would go buy a lot and just trade it to you for the thing. You see that almost to me, I mean, is that you don't want to be reasonable about this.
I don't know, maybe I'll just go ahead and plant a bunch of trees down there. That way, it takes care of everything else.
So
No,
That's what's happened down this way. I can look out my window where I used to be able to see down. I got trees there that's higher than that bench house. You can't even see them. You got the city shed down here. I'd make a motion to cut that sucker in half. Because it's so high, it doesn't give anything.
Well, without a determination from the planning and zoning committee, and assuming that the three people that voted do not want to change their vote, I would recommend you request this be forwarded to the city council and appeal to them.
Okay, appreciate that.
on that, do you want to discuss the lot split tonight?
Will it do any good?
Possibly.
I would say if you if you want to go to, because both will have to be heard at the city council. So the question is, if you have one that has a recommendation or one that doesn't, at least at that point, if both items are heard tonight, you could take both together to city council rather than doing one and then trying to come back. If you get approved for one.
If it was residential, you'd want a lot split. If it's commercial and you're ever gonna get anything out of it, it stays commercial, you gotta have it split to be able to get anything out of it that way. So it looks like to me, it's a no-brainer. Either way, you'd want to split.
I would agree with that. It's not gonna hurt anything to split it.
And one other point,
So which one am I getting split?
and what other point was
all stays commercial? What's the point
For
of
right now.
What would be the point of
Well,
that?
And this would just be approving it,
You split it as two.
and you wouldn't have to record it either, right?
right, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
add. You could get your lot split, you could get it approved.
You get it approved here without recording it.
And then take it to council and get it approved there, but until you record it,
It's
it's
not
not
official.
done.
Yeah,
It just gives you the opportunity to proceed if you want
And so
to. That's what it is.
I would suggest we go ahead and discuss the lot split.
If you want,
If you want
One
to.
step.
just as a point, then you close your public hearing. when you
Right,
close
yes,
it.
we have- We close the public hearing, and then move on and we go on with the lot split discussion. Is that right? And so we're all aware of it. One thing that Lynn brought up about, maybe possibly a trade-in properties or something in the future, getting the lot split approved tonight would aid in that. So something like that wouldn't have to be discussed later, and you're already on the agenda, and we can move forward with that.
If the city approves it, well, then you've got something. If they don't, if it remains commercial, then you've got something. If you had a separate lot that's commercial and somebody wanted it, but it would seem like to me that, and then if you can keep it and not record it until you want to, it seems like you've got all the advantages working for you to split it. Nothing.
that's why we all go.
Do we need any more discussion on the lot split?
I don't think so.
Okay, we have a motion.
I move that we move forward with splitting the lot according to I think you've got a plat that you've designed, and I recommend that we move forward with that. Right now being split as a commercial lot off of the existing lot.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the lot split by Dave.
I'll second it.
Second by Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I can, no, this is not a Mylar. This is just last thing, it's not recorded. And it's just not a Mylar, that's not.
Where is the minor? Pardon? Do you have a minor?
Evidently, Jerry has it set up.
Yeah, you,
No,
The original
Transfer.
rolled up.
This is what he
it looks like it's on this type of material here.
He just sent me this is all.
yeah, that's
At
fine.
that point, in order to have it signed, they'll need to have one come on material like this. If you tell them a Mylar, tell them.
And I thought Jerry.
And, city council meeting is planned. We have this scheduled for
November 20th is the next city council meeting,
November 20th.
November 20th.
Yeah, there's stuff going with the holiday and
The 6th is election day,
election.
and we're not having a meeting on the
Just want to check with.
So,
Okay, so does he know, need to check with you to get on city council tomorrow?
Carol.
Carolyn?
yeah,
Carol to get on the city council, and then we
For
go,
when, the next week,
what's that?
for the next week. is it?
The next one, the next council meeting would be on the 20th, so. if you'll-
20th of November.
Tomorrow.
with election day, it kicks it, there is no first of the month meeting.
We came and met before you all said you approved. Tonight, split it. You've ruined it. I can't believe that my city did this to you. I'm really hurt. I really am. That's the whole, no,
This one is over.
Okay, let's move on to our next item on the agenda.
Thank you.
We have a lot line adjustment for Steve Yak. Show us that, what we're doing there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is just separate the properties. I've got the tiny house right in front, as you can see, and then I've got 6.83 acres from there on over to the fence line, and it goes just straight. So like in the future, if I ever decide I want to sell my warehouse for these, then it's all just right there. And I'm selling that. It has access, all the way around it. And there's an alleyway in between the two metal buildings behind it. And that goes along with the warehouse.
So you're just separating it off?
I'm just separating it off. I'm just
Creating 2 lots?
Yeah, I'm just creating 2 lots. And because there'll be a day that I get tired and fall over and I can't do these anymore. So this way it'll all be taken care of and I can just sell it off.
This would make the lot line go between the 2 buildings.
Yeah, there's only 2 feet left on, this shows a bigger picture when I look at it. It's just a little alleyway that, how you get this out, Dean?
Twist it.
Got a hatchet now.
Twist it smaller and then it'll go. Usually.
I had it out once, looked at it, that shouldn't mess with that. So you can break it.
The zoning on this, right, is
RM18.
RM18.
In that area.
Okay.
So currently residential zone, dense housing.
Okay. So,
The tax notice is off first.
What's that?
It's off, the tax notice is off first.
It would be taxed as commercial because of the use.
Okay.
commercial use, but,
True.
okay.
Oh, but it's still a residential zone.
That's what the zoning is, but the tax would be based on use.
Could they even change the name?
Just makes more expensive.
What?
Yes, it is.
So is there a concern with setbacks with anything?
You're gonna have a hard time with that, with it zoned the way it is, to sell any other as a commercial unless you do.
Well, it's,
What you deal with it that?
I'll deal with that when that day comes, because I don't have the intention. I just want to just put this where it can be sold out.
Yeah, the only problem with that are the setbacks, the building. You say how much, 2 feet on that one side?
It'd be a 4 foot off the property line. What kind of building is that?
They're two metal buildings.
Is it a
Just shed.
Just garages.
Okay.
That just gives this piece of property room to go through.
Yeah, so this
They
is,
own that, yeah. Whoever-
this has right now 10.4 on this end, 10.3 on this end, and then 4 feet on the other side of the lot line, which gives it 14, as long as there's no fence in the way.
That's what Jerry already
Uh,
proposed to do.
Are there any concerns from staff?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Currently, the line goes through the building, and we're just bringing it in front
Bring
of it.
it south of the plate. So we're just gonna correct it so the building isn't cut off by a property line.
So that's already a separate lot, we're just
Yeah,
moving one line.
yeah. So it's like about 8.5 to 9.75 feet, depending on which end you're looking at. 8.63 here and 9.5 over here, so
Straightening it out a little bit too then.
So then we call it.
it'll at least be square with this all.
Lot line adjustment.
The old Harmston survey, right?
Anybody have any other questions? We have a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve lot line adjustment.
We have a motion to approve by Eric,
I'll second.
second by Chris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
That's yours.
I'll sign yours. You'll need to get on the agenda for the city council.
Yeah, you should. So make sure you talk to everyone. Yeah, you should bring it to council.
Yeah, they'll need that one, sign that one.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Okay. On to our next one, master site plan, Wade Evans.
We'd like to just build a little additional shop next to our building down there. And also possibly, I talked to Dean, and he said there's a 10-foot, variance on from where our line can be to the property line. This is gonna be a main building, and he said possibly we could ask for that to be 5 feet.
Where it's fireproof, it's not a fire danger, it could. possibly go
10
with
feet between the existing and the old.
Let's have a 10-foot easement, so to speak, from the
On
property
his
line.
property, he wants to just put the building within 5 feet of the property line.
I don't have to do that, and just give us a little more room.
Does that have to be approved by the adjacent property? I know at one time, my next door neighbor put a shop in, and it was right on, they wanted to put it right on the property line. So, well, it was back 2 feet, so it would drip on their side. And they came to me and asked my approval, so I just,
Something like that would be, but he's not dripping anything on anybody's property.
Is this, who's the property to the north of the city?
Also, the city from the back end, and then on the other side, I guess.
Hardware.
did JR actually buy that property?
Yes.
You got that all done?
Yes, yes. Where he wants to put this is actually a P-Series Quonset hut. He has the design for it here. He bought it from an individual, it's all engineered, and it's all completely steel built. It's not insulated, so there's no fire. The only fire danger would be what's in it, but the exterior of the building wouldn't burn, so that's why he could go within 5 feet of his property. If it wasn't that way, we would hold it for it. But that's up to you to decide to go closer on that.
And you only want
But this is basically where he wants to.
You're gonna be posted on both
It'd be better if I went both ways, but I really could live without it on the back.
You'd have to move the power line or something.
Really, on JR's line, it's gonna be a lot better for us if we can slide the building that way.
Well, and we have to look and see if Moon Lake has any major power here.
There is,
So there is.
we've talked to Moon Lake up in this, right in this corner, set the pole. But and there's power coming across to the building. We've talked with Moon Lake about coming down and burying.
Okay, and that's sure also not that we would need a distance if it's a transmission line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a setback for Moon Lake, whatever we would do there. But basically, that's what they're here for, is site approval to be able to put a building in there. It's a commercial lot. And,
You have any other? It's just gonna be a warehouse, store stuff in?
What's that?
We're just gonna store stuff in it, it's not a,
Yeah, well, we're gonna also do repairs in there.
okay.
You just can't live in it.
Darren might want to.
Possibility.
Non-insulated.
Yeah, can't live in it.
So you're talking about putting it closer than normal to JR's line.
Yeah.
Does he know about this or has he been approached at all?
I haven't talked to him.
I would suggest talking to him about it.
Yeah.
No, I would suggest it. Well, I don't see him do the car all the time. I'm at the other place.
And we can live with the 10 feet if we have to.
Well, I recommend that we, move forward with the, would he be voting at the city
No.
council meeting?
You wouldn't know.
Unless it's a tie.
But this got to go to the city council after us.
Yes.
And so he.
This is basically a commercial site approval to put in a building on a commercial lot.
Yeah.
Just adding another building.
They're gonna have any water or power to it? It's gonna have power. isn't
Well,
it?
Yeah, hard of hearing, I'm sorry.
Will it have power and
Yeah.
water or just
Oh, yeah.
power?
Yeah.
Both? It will have both.
Well, a commercial lot, can you go to a 0 lot line?
That's
You can depending on your fire construction. And that's why I said there's a possibility we can go down to 5 feet because of the construction.
That's a thought, commercial, there's not a setback.
Basically, what we're trying to do is if we come out 10 feet from that fence on both sides of it, it's just gonna be weeds growing in between there instead of being able to keep it clean to be able to use it, use the property. Because if it's 10 feet on the backside and on the side, it's just gonna be a weed pile.
Versus.
I hate to get it any less
5 feet.
than 5.
Yeah, I mean, 5 feet's gonna be weeds, I mean, it's just,
And where we come in between the buildings without 12 feet, where the other way it'd give us 17, where we can get a truck out of
And all that is on JR's is a warehouse, I mean, it's not,
Right.
he doesn't use it for anything but his storage.
I'm trying to think what JR's got on that. Is there anything on that corner? Or is it
There's
just
nothing on
open?
that corner, it's open.
It's just all open.
Yeah, it's all open.
I recommend I move that we accept this plan with the 5 feet setbacks.
Okay, we have a motion by Dave to accept this master site plan with 5-foot setbacks on this building. Do we have any other discussion on it?
Let's qualify the 5-foot setback is on the west side, not at the rear, because we want to have our distance from the power lines on that. So the 5 foot is on the west side.
5 feet on the west side. Would you amend that motion to?
Yeah, amend that motion so
To have the
stated as Dean has given it to us.
5 feet on the west side to avoid power line issues on the back side. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now you can move on to the council.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Wade.
thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, to discuss our meeting schedule for November. Currently.
Currently, we don't have one for it, because it would hit on the 21st, the day before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So that's when your would have hit. So we don't currently have one scheduled. We were curious if you would like to go on and have a meeting in November with either the 13th or the 14th, 21st, or 14th and 28th. Because at the 21st, we assume there will be those that will want to head off for Thanksgiving. So
My opinion is if something comes up that they want something in November, I'd be fine with it on the 28th of November.
Why don't we do it earlier? Why don't we do it on the 21st?
See, the only problem
That's
with
the
the
day before
28th,
Thanksgiving.
The 14th.
the 28th wouldn't give anybody time to get on. city
Yeah,
council.
and then that's to wait a week longer. So that's what I would recommend, that we have that on the 14th.
If need be.
If need be.
you're fine with the 28th.
No,
You're fine with
The 28th doesn't make any sense because they can't
Doesn't
get on
give
city
them enough
council.
time to get on the city
Get
council.
on
So
the next
they would be
agenda.
waiting until January.
On the 14th, they can go on city council.
no, they'd be able to get on the first one in December.
If we do a meeting on the 28th, then city council is the very next week. They won't have enough time to,
And so if we do it on the 14th, we're able to,
if there is,
if something comes up, then it's able to move on.
Okay, we're kind of thinking there might be something that's coming, so 14th, that will work. We'll find out, and then if anything there would come to the December 4th council.
Yeah. Because that would give plenty of time for notification and all that. Okay. All right, do we have any other business?
I have one other item that I showed you roughly, so this is fairly new for us. But having a map that includes the various different levels and zones and, just to kind of walk you through some of this, because at some point, the intention is to be able to allow you to have access to this so that you could take it. We do have access, I believe, to this one on our website. We have access just to kind of walk you through how it works, what it includes. So it has the different zoning. You'll notice the little shaded area here. That is our potential annexation boundary. So that you can see what items the city has established, what we would accept annexation in, and that's what that is. You'll see the city boundary. If you come to here, if you're running it, you can come to here and turn on or off certain layers. So if you wanted to turn on city boundaries, you can see that you can see Ballard City and Roosevelt City highlighted. The special districts, if you want to see where different water districts or different affected entities might sit, where their boundaries are, and if you want to see, we do have a community redevelopment agency that is established there. You can turn it off. You can turn on or off the county parcels to be able to see that. So anyway, kind of gives you an idea. We have established this as a tool that you could kind of utilize. And if there are additional things that you would say, we would really like to be able to see X, Y, or Z on the map, let me know. We are working to try to have tools for you to utilize as you move forward in your decisions. So anyway, kind of give you an idea. Kind of used it tonight, and it kind of shows you as you zoom in and out, it'll add or subtract some of those layers. So
I put the incorporated city line up again. No, that doesn't show.
it doesn't show the newest update.
No, the Ballard, the high school, is that not?
The high school is right here.
Wasn't that, okay.
The high school is right here.
Okay, so there's the county line.
County line.
Okay.
So
Cause we do, don't we, doesn't Roosevelt City have all the way?
we do
See,
have,
that's the thing, right there.
we do have this piece here. That is correct.
Yeah, so that's,
So
that would need corrected.
yes, yes. That one does need to be corrected. So, and
That's
we
what I
have
thought.
pieces of it, but that's one of our things. This is the maps that we have. And in order to get maps that are better, the more people that utilize it and give us feedback, the better we can produce and keep our maps. So that's why we want to roll the tool out to you to be able to show you what we have.
And is this online now?
It's online, is accessible to you online,
Okay.
on the planning and zoning.
Through the planning and zoning tab?
Correct, from our city site. So anyway, play around with it. Let us know if there's things other things you'd like to see on it. Some of the data is out of date with the parcel viewer, so we still need to input the newest of that data. So keep that in mind, but we are trying to roll tools out for you.
Would something like main water and sewer lines be able to be put in as a layer?
It's possible. It's possible. We haven't at this point, but it is definitely possible to do in the future. So it's something we could definitely look at. So keep in mind that's where you're at. So anyway.
Anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Lynn,
Second.
second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.